Welcome to episode 6 of the Ashley Lay Real Estate Podcast. We're excited to introduce the great city of Winston-Salem, North Carolina to you, our listeners. Joining us this episode is Katie Hall from Vela Agency. She is also a Winston-Salem ambassador.
Hi, I'm Ashley with Ashley Lay Real Estate in Keller Williams, and I'm here with Katie Hall today. I'll tell you a little bit more about her in a second. Thank you for joining us for our 6th podcast. Can't believe we're at number 6 already. So today we wanted to talk a little bit about why Winston. Winston is such a great place to live, and if you're considering moving, actually to make your home and to raise your family, do whatever. This place is full of interesting and wonderful things to explore and see and do, and we want to talk a little bit about that today. Katie is kind of our local Winston-Salem guru. She's been out and about and involved in Winston-Salem pretty actively since she got out of high school. She attended Salem College and the MBA program at Wake Forest, and I think at Wake she worked in the mayor's office, and she's still pretty active politically. And she was named not too long ago by the Winston-Salem Chamber of Commerce, who is now known as Greater Winston-Salem, right, Katie? Mm-hmm. She was given their Under 40 Leadership Award, which is very cool. That's really awesome, Katie. So I'll let her chat a little bit about herself and her love of Winston-Salem for a second.
Sure. Thank you, Ashley, for having me. So I grew up in this area in Davidson County, which is just south of Winston-Salem. As Ashley said, I moved to downtown Winston-Salem in 2010 to start my career at Salem College as a student, and have never left the downtown area since, with an exception to living in Little Rock, Arkansas for a year in 2016. So I find that there are so many things to do to get involved within Winston-Salem. You have the opportunity to build networks both professionally but also personally, and I have found that very enriching as part of my young adult life. I am so proud to call the City of Arts and Innovation home, and I think we're going to talk a little bit about some of the great things that you can get involved in to explore and really enrich your life in all that Winston-Salem has to offer.
That's cool. So I know you're with Vela Agency in downtown, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, so tell me some of your favorite things to do in the art scene downtown.
Well, I love working and living downtown. It's so nice because there are a lot of opportunities to get involved in different organizations, both as a volunteer and a ticket holder.
Yeah. I'm really missing the Stevens Center with it being open right now.
Me too, and all the other great venues that we have in town, like the Ramcat.
Yeah.
Of course, School of the Arts has a lot of wonderful places, Salem College, Wake Forest, Brendel Hall. Nonetheless, there are a ton of different things that you can do to get involved within the arts. Recently joined the board of the symphony.
Oh, that's exciting. I love to go hear them at Christmas so much. I know they have a whole season. Maybe don't go as much as I should, but for those people that are interested, it is great. They have a whole series of performances during their season, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And Piedmont Opera as well, out of the Fletcher Opera Center, that is a part of UNCSA, University of North Carolina School of the Arts.
We, my husband and I recently moved about a year ago downtown, and we're, she's aware of this, but I'm letting y'all know. We live near Old Salem, and one of our favorite things to do is get out and just walk and explore, and I have discovered so many cool things to do, like Sawtooth, and walking past people doing their classes. They're never even thought about it. We were walking through, you reminded me when you said it, we were walking through the School of the Arts, and I saw that it had their whole performance schedule up with their plays and sort of thing. I was like, oh, I'm excited. I want to do this. And then COVID. But I'm sure that it will all come back at some point and we'll be able to enjoy these fun things.
In due time.
Yes. So do you have maybe 3 favorite things that you love to do in Winston-Salem?
Favorite things that I love to do. Within the event space, I think there are a couple of annual events or nearly annual events that happen. One being so close to home, the Easter sunrise service that takes place within Old Salem.
We love that every year.
It starts right as the sun is rising, and it's so beautiful. You've got all the musicians, the brass musicians from the different churches and congregations in the area who play antiphonally, so all across the different properties. And you've got conductors with, their lanyarded, I don't even know that that's a word, but walkie-talkies, and they're all connecting so that everybody in these different places can play in unison and come together.
It is
so beautiful.
pretty, impressive is not the best word. It is the coolest experience to be standing there and hear the music and watch the sun coming up and recognizing the significance of that event and of that moment. And what's funny, my husband and I, we walk early every morning, so we're often seeing the sun come up, and often we are walking past the graveyard as the sun comes up. And we have, on occasion, stopped and played really inspirational music to sit there and try to recreate the moment, but it's not the same. But that's definitely not to be missed.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
I also love Black Theater Festival. They have their gala, which kicks off the festival. It's usually about a week long.
Oh, wow.
They have all sorts of live productions and just incredible, rich experiences. People really turn out. I think that attracts about 60,000 visitors to downtown Winston-Salem.
And I saw a lot of press about that right before COVID this year, right? Didn't it happen just pre-COVID? Wasn't that this year?
It was last year.
Okay,
This
is me getting old, but I remember seeing all the press on it, and it looked like I was like, I need to know more about this and go to some of the events.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, excellent. So does that mean it will be in 2021 if things go well?
I believe so, yes.
Excellent. Okay. What would you maybe say is your third favorite thing?
My third favorite thing, I do love going to the symphony. And as part of the symphony, there's a whole educational experience of being able to hear the pre-concert talks that really help for you to get into the right frame of reference as you're about to hear the symphony perform their work. So love hearing the symphony, and they of course are always the hired players to back Piedmont Opera's productions. So many wonderful shows that come to Stevens Center, Carmen. The King and I was supposed to take place this past spring, but of course
that one, I saw that and I wanted to go because I was actually in The King and I when I was a child, in Elkin in their theater production, so I was really sad about that. Yeah. So I am, if somebody asked me what would be my top three, I'm not as much of an events person as I am just loving to soak up just every day and the things around us and what we can go and enjoy. Some of my favorite things to do are just to walk into downtown and sit down outside of Cranky's or sit down outside of Camino's and have a cup of coffee. Kevin and I love to go sit outside at, help me say it right, the pizza venue is Cugino Forno. I want to say it right. I don't want to butcher it. And at the brewery there, and we really enjoy doing those kinds of things. And I've been really sad that so much is closing early right now, but I do definitely understand and looking forward to it being open again. I saw that this week they're potentially going to close the road. Did you read about that? They're going to close Trade and 4th and allow people to eat outside in the roads outside the restaurants.
This weekend.
It's this weekend. Is it the
25th?
Yeah, so everybody come downtown, support local this week, and eat outside that day. We are actually going to be on vacation, so I'm really sad to miss that because I just think it's fun. It's a great. That was probably my favorite thing about Europe the few times I visited. We just recently spent 2 weeks in France, and the outdoor, just the whole culture of everyone sitting outside and sharing life and meals together. So when I saw that we were doing that in Winston, I was like, yes! And then I went, oh, it's fun, I'm on vacation. But, I think we were talking earlier, I really love a few events, like, we like to go to the Wine Festival at Tanglewood. That's always fun. And Tanglewood is such an amazing park for people that don't know about our town. it is probably one of the nicest parks that any municipality has locally. It has golf, and it has beautiful gardens, because it used to be the home of one of the Reynolds. Is that right? I believe. Am I saying that right? I believe that's correct. And it has beautiful ponds, and I think you can go and you can kayak and you can horseback ride, all kinds of trails. There's a dog park. It has a community pool. So it is, and the park has great play areas for kids. There's even an old train there at the park for the kids to climb over, and all these picnic shelters and everything. So it is just a wonderful, wonderful thing that we have in Winston-Salem that a lot of cities do not have. And they have great events there. And I think, I was trying to think, the other event I attended not too long ago was that Allison Dahl puts together. It's the Southern Charm at the Farm. That's, if you haven't seen that before, look that up on Facebook. That's a wonderful event full of local providers sharing all their wares and the things that they make. So it's just, that's really cool to go and see how creative everyone is locally. And that thing has been covered up. Like, y'all, there's just fields and fields and fields full of parking, and every car, I mean, it was just full. I couldn't believe the number of people the last time I went, and I was so sad that this year had to be put off, but it will come again, right?
It will come again. And I think too, we are an event city, but we definitely do have a lot of things that are taking place just on the normal day to day. My cousin Lily came to visit this weekend, and so on a Sunday afternoon, what are you going to do? So I took her downtown and showed her the Kempton, which, Reynolds Tower, which...
I worked on the 16th floor of that building for years for Reynolds.
Yes,
yeah.
Which is such a beautiful piece of architecture in town, but what a lot of people may not realize is it was the model for the Empire State Building, which was then built in New York. And so we visited there, and then we walked down the street to the Little Dipper, which is
that's so fun.
Cute little ice cream shop, and walked around Bailey Park, and spent some time in Old Salem, which is an old Moravian settlement that was built and established in 1771 by the Moravians who came down from Pennsylvania, and then founded Salem College, the oldest women's college in the country, in 1772.
And that is, I think a lot of people that have moved here, sometimes they haven't heard about Old Salem, and it is just an amazing resource to have to show our children and visitors to take them around. When it's in full, I guess, fully open, they have people dressed in period costumes, and actually just the bakery, the tannery, the different livery, the different ways that they made a living, they recreate in Old Salem. And even though it's not fully open right now, it is still fun to just walk through. I'm so used to it because we walk it every morning almost, but it's just beautiful to go back through and see these homes that have been there for years and years, and how people lived.
Yes.
So.
I'm going to correct my date real quick.
Okay.
1766 was when Salem was founded. 1771, I've been working with Salem Band, which is one of the most incredible community bands. They're one of the first brass bands that got started right here.
Are they the ones
town
that
of
do the
Salem.
concerts in the summer
They do
out there?
the
I missed
concerts
that
in the
too.
square,
It was
yes.
so fun last year.
Yeah, so they'll be celebrating their 250th anniversary next year.
Nice.
And have a whole season planned.
Oh, wow.
Of course, COVID permitting, but did want to correct those dates. The other really cool thing that Old Salem is doing right now is they have a project called Hidden Town, which is really uncovering the Black Moravian experience.
Oh, neat.
For so many museums, oftentimes the history is not full history, and so Frank Vagnone, who's president of Old Salem, has done a really tremendous job of making sure that the full history of Old Salem becomes evident and told. And so there have been a lot of really amazing things to come out of community research projects as part of Hidden Town, and so there's a lot being talked about within Hidden Town right now.
That's really exciting. That's great to hear. Well, let's talk a little bit about the educational opportunities in town. There's so many universities. It's not, people hear about Wake Forest, but there's so much more. You want to share with us a little bit about that?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I am a Wake Forest alum. I went to business school and graduated in the fall of 2019.
With her MBA.
With my MBA, yes, my master's in business. Had a wonderful time there. Wake Forest, didn't actually move to Winston until I believe the mid-1940s. And before that, it was in Wake Forest, North Carolina, toward Raleigh. Of course, you have Salem College, my alma mater, proud Salem sister. And Salem, is a liberal arts college that is small in size but mighty in nature. Really loved my time there and have been honored to continue to be involved. And
well, they're really
with young
great
women.
at placing young women in some amazing opportunities during their internships and that sort of thing. I hear about people going all over the country and even the world with some of the things that they're doing. So they are small, but they I guess provide amazing, just an amazing springboard for the young women that go there, just like you.
Yes, well, thank you. Yes, there are about 12,000 alumni as part of the Salem network, and I meet people all over, literally the world, who have somehow interacted with Salem. In fact, one of my best friends is a Salem sister from the class of 1958, Phyllis Dunning, and she was an educator here. She worked at Reynolds High School, she worked at Atkins, she worked at Haynes. She spent her whole life teaching English here, and made Winston her home, but also loved to travel, and she was kind of a Winston-Salem ambassador as well. But
that's amazing.
We also have Forsyth Tech, and I list that one third because I did do a summer at Forsyth Tech, and really just found the professors very knowledgeable, the students committed to learning, they wanted to be there, and community college often doesn't get the full attention that other private and public universities do, but Forsyth Tech, they just revealed a new branding campaign. A place of promise is their new tagline, and I think that really fits Forsyth Tech very well.
It does. It really does. Did you guys help with that?
I did not,
okay.
no, but have enjoyed watching their new brand unfold.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, and then, of course, let's talk about Winston-Salem State. I mean, they're known all over for their band, apparently. I've always heard how amazing their band is. And what was cool is once we moved downtown, we could hear all last summer leading into football season, when we would be out walking, we could hear the band practicing. And that was like my favorite thing because they're amazing.
Yes.
And my daughter-in-law tried to get into she's a doctor of physical therapy, and that was her number one choice for their DPT program. I think it's amazing. She did not get in, unfortunately, but she got into another one, and now she is in Winston-Salem as a DPT, but we were hoping she would be an alumna from there. So.
Yeah, Winston-Salem State has a lot of really great programs. I remember reading a statistic recently that they had the highest, job rate, so of graduating students within the UNC system. Students who graduate from Winston-Salem State are like more destined to have a job.
Gotta get a good job.
Right, with a solid education.
That's awesome.
And then there's Piedmont International University.
Yes. Let's not forget them. I walk past them all the time too, right there in Winston.
Exactly. But I was driving by earlier today on Broad Street, and they've changed the signage to say, I think, Carolina University. So
interesting. We'll have to
wondering
get some
if they're
details on
rebranding
that
as well. But.
Well, I'm going to cheat, and on the other side of us, and y'all may not see him, is Jeff Butler, who is our marketing guru. And I know Jeff knows a lot about there because I think, didn't you work there for a while? Was that?
At Piedmont?
Uh-huh.
No, I applied there and interviewed there, but they have changed their name officially to Carolina University as just part of the sweeping rebranding process there. And so, yes, the signage is now correct, and it's now Carolina University.
Oh, well, that's good to know. I was not aware. All right. Let's see. What if someone wants to get involved in something downtown? How do you get to? I know there's a Winston-Salem Ambassador program, right? And I heard about that recently. Do you know anything about that?
The ambassadors was something that came out of a project from Mackenzie Cates Allen, who is a Salem sister. And so really their whole mission is to promote Winston-Salem as a destination for work, play, and life. And so promoting Winston-Salem and really just bringing positive attention to what's going on. You've also got Greater Winston-Salem, as we discussed. They recently merged with the business magazine, Winston-Salem Business, I believe was the name of that publication. And so they are really working on both attracting talent and corporations and business to this area, but also retaining talent and families and helping to make people aware of all of the really wonderful things that are going on in town. So.
Well, I think when we first downsized in 17 and we moved downtown to Plant 64, I really only knew Innovation Quarter as home to the medical school. And now it's amazing all the different things that are coming out of there. And I'm not even well versed enough to quote it all. Maybe you can, but I know that there's just so many great resources for people starting businesses. And what's the name of that group that, you know what I'm talking about?
The Small Business Center?
There's that, but there's, I can't think of the name of the group that meets...
Venture Cafe.
Venture Cafe, yes, because we actually went to a meeting of that, and that's a really cool thing for startups and people looking, just to be creative, start their own thing.
It is. It's a part of a kind of a global entity, Venture Cafe Winston-Salem. It's led by the executive director, Karen Barnes, and I was really involved in attending their Thursday night gatherings, which it usually goes from about 5 until 8 p.m. So there's networking, there are different sessions that people can go and learn about different topics, and they change every single week. It's also really cool because they pull in some of the entrepreneurial system, the food entrepreneurs, so you have an opportunity to taste new wine, or Cam's Coffee, I know, has served coffee there, and I want to say that Sunshine has brought their delicious energy drink beverages.
And while you're talking about that, I just love, one of my favorite things, back to favorite things, I love to go to a brewery and see what the food truck is. What's the cool food truck? Like Winston-Salem is full of the most creative food truck servings I've ever seen, and I'm missing that this summer. I really enjoyed that all last summer. So looking forward to all that coming back.
Definitely.
All right. Have we missed anything that would be great to chat about for people to consider Winston-Salem?
I think one thing that's important for us to remember is we do have a really strong business community here.
We do.
And so as you're thinking about moving here or looking at your options within the Triad, Winston-Salem, I think, provides a really great cost of living, but also there's a strong opportunity to get involved in different organizations, companies, great schools, where you can make a great living. Within my own company, I work within business development for Vela Agency, and we work with large industrial transportation companies like Mack Trucks, Volvo. We've done some work with Novant Health and ALRE Health within the healthcare system industry. And I think it's important to remember that you don't have to be a huge advertising agency to gather that work. We have such talented people here, many of whom have done the whole cut your teeth on the bigger Mullen type agency brands. But Vela, the whole purpose of Vela was started because our principals, which Ginger Gallagher is now president of Vela, and she was a part of the founding with Michelle Sawyers about 10 years ago. They were working in corporate America, Michelle at Reynolds and Ginger at Sara Lee Haynes Brands, and they kind of realized that Winston at that time did not have an agency meant for people like them locally. And so they said, well, let's start our own thing.
Nice. And
so they did. Nice. And Winston, has given them a lot of really great opportunities. We've redone PTI, Piedmont Triad International Airport's branding campaigns probably 3 times over the past decade or more. websites, app development, and so it's really great that we have these resources locally, that we don't have to farm them out to larger cities like Charlotte or Raleigh, but there's people capital here.
There is
that can do that kind of work.
There is, and there are great resources if you're a medium-sized business that are going to be looking for those people to come and staff what they're opening up. I think that for many years that the things on people's, when you hear North Carolina, you think Charlotte or you think Raleigh. You didn't really think about here in the Triad, and you especially didn't think Winston-Salem, and I think that is changing. I'm beginning to see our name popping up on lists like top 10 downtowns and fun little things like that have been going on lately, and I just think it's important that people that are considering coming here now, we have 4 seasons, something as simple as we don't think about that and how blessed we are with that, but I know that I have family in Arizona, and they don't really have seasons. I mean, it might get a little cooler in the winter, but it's just a little easier hiking on them. But, we have beautiful falls with all the color and snow in the winter, but not too much, right? Just enough. And beautiful springs with all the flowers, and then definitely the hot summer that we're experiencing right now. And speaking of the heat, you can rush off just for the weekend, 3.5 hours to the closest beach if you put your pedal to the metal. And I love it because we have a home in Fancy Gap, Virginia, and you can get to the mountains in 1 hour. You can be on the Blue Ridge Parkway from downtown Winston-Salem in 1 hour. So that's wonderful. Our location is just fantastic, right? So it's affordable. We have, and I don't even think we've mentioned the healthcare. We have some of the greatest healthcare in the world here in Winston-Salem with our healthcare systems. So we just wanted to share with you today all the wonderful, fantastic things about Winston-Salem. And before we sign off, is there anything else that we have not hit on or you want to talk about, Katie?
I think Winston-Salem is the place that you make it. And if you have a desire to get involved in animal welfare organizations, or you want to go and be a part of a biking community that spends Saturdays going from Winston to Greensboro to do.
I'm part of a hiking one. Hey, we're close to Hanging Rock. We're close to Pilot Mountain. We didn't even bring any of that up.
Exactly. If you want to spend your Wednesdays drinking at a bar with your friends, you can do that too. So I think there are so many different opportunities for you to make an experience out of Winston-Salem, and if you're willing to put in a little bit of work and be open to those different and new experiences, it can be whatever you want it to be.
It is. So if you're considering Winston-Salem, reach out and give us a call at 336-816-7818. It's such a great place to live, and Katie, we appreciate you, and we can't wait for you to be our neighbor. Thank you guys. Till next time.
Joining us on episode 6. We hope to see you in Winston-Salem sometime soon. Check out the show notes below for more information on our hometown.